Hello, Pisces, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of September 27th through October 4th. And during that time, we'll have a few different moon energies. We'll have the waxing crescent, then we move into the first quarter on the 30th, and then the waxing gibbous. So those waxing energies are a really good time to just kind of buckle down, get to work, make adjustments, make changes, that sort of thing. In those things that you've just started working on during the last new moon. And then the first quarter moon is kind of like the full moon energy to me. There's just kind of a day where you feel a little bit impatient, maybe impulsive. It's hard to concentrate. You might just feel like you need to get out and do something. So keep that moon energy in mind as you're working through your week. You may need to meditate through that first quarter, or if you're like me, I just totally put that energy to work. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we're moving through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Pisces. So, as always, please take what resonates today and leave what doesn't for someone else. Your overall message for this reading, and you watch me shuffle this, but I had the same card come out for the Aquarians: work through your fears. So, something going on where, and maybe if you have an Aquarius in your life and you want to do some cross watching and see what they're working through also. But let's see what the Pisces collective is working through this week when it comes to your fears. As I'm shuffling, I would like to say that my weekly fun reminder this week is that you keep a spiritual journal. Sometimes we don't recognize the patterns that are evolving in our life when it comes to our spiritual experiences or things that we're learning, things of that nature. So keeping track of those things in a journal, just things that you learn, maybe dreams you have or synchronicities that may stand out to you. Animal encounters. In fact, I've got one that I need to look up. I saw a coyote the other night, and I keep forgetting to look up what the attributes of the coyote. I mean, other than obvious, but and then I'll put that in my journal because I saw one the other night, and it's just strange to me when I see an animal. I mean, I think I've seen one of those my entire life, and I'm in an area where they're around, but it's not really super common. So when I see a weird animal that's not completely common, it just makes me look that up and think, what part of my life do I need to use that attribute, the attribute of that animal? It's usually something that I'm working on that it's like, oh, okay, if I take on those attributes, I'll be more successful. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, but keep a spiritual journal is what I'm trying to say. It's good to be able to look back on the things that you're learning. So, all right, without further ado, and with me quitting rambling here, Pisces, September 27th through October 4th, work through your fears. Let's see what you guys have going on this week. Your overall energy is the Three of Wands here. So this could be travel, some new venture, something, there may be something that's coming up for you that's new. And yeah, you've got some fears about it, and it seems very founded. It seems like, yeah, it's the kind of thing where you should be maybe a little bit fearful, so just a little bit. I don't like to walk around being in fear, but anytime you have some new venture, there's of course that butterfly feeling. That can be a good thing. It's a good thing to keep you on your toes, keep you aware, and kind of make you really stop and think about, am I making the right decisions as I move forward? So you've got some sort of new venture or new travel that's going to come up for you that you're a little bit afraid of, and that's okay. You're going to work all that out, right? Your current situation is the Queen of Swords. So, some new venture that has you in this kind of very logical mode. You're really having to pull upon your Queen of Swords energy, which is kind of that sharp tongue logic. You understand a topic so well that no one can come up against you on it. You know what's going on with it, and you're able to be very clear and concise about it. So interesting. Let's see what else. At the root of your situation here is the Magician. So you might be on some sort of course change, course correction, where the Magician comes to us and says, okay, it's time to make some changes. Which element would you like to use to make that change? Are we going to change some things in your financial material realm? in your love realm, in the way you communicate or the way you think. Are we going to learn something new or communicate in a different way? Or your passion realm, the thing that really, to find something that really lights you on fire. So, the thing that gets you very excited about life. So, because we've got wands and swords here. Maybe the magician is saying, what are you going to narrow this down to? What is the element that you need to move forward in this new situation with this new venture? Is it swords? We'll see. You might have, let's see what other cards come out. In your recent past is more swords. So, nine of swords, which is kind of some anxiety and sleepless nights. So maybe this was before this decision point that you decided to go on, and maybe that's what was causing it, was just this anxiety, like, I can't do this anymore. So it looks like you've made a decision, and you're going to move forward, maybe with that sword energy, like I said, with communication, communicating better and thinking in different ways too. What is on your mind this week is the Page of Pentacles. So this would be a new path in the way of your finances or material world. So this may have something to do with, of course, travel, new venture. This could be a new business, a new side business that you are starting or involved with, or some new something, or wanting to push that a little bit more or be a little bit more involved in that for whatever reason, for some sort of maybe anxiety reason that you want to devote more time to it because it's less anxious or makes you more money. Maybe you just need to focus down and do this new venture. But yeah, let's keep going and see what is just ahead of Pisces this week. um Six of Pentacles. So just ahead of you is either giving or receiving. I always ask what people see in this card, but one of those is just ahead of you this week, and it could be a little bit of both. For some reason, I'm being drawn to say that it's a little bit of give, receive, back and forth. But yeah, some new path here. Okay, which goes along with your Three of Wands. Let's keep going here. In your advice position is the Five of Wands. So, the Five of Wands is our card of conflict. This could be competition, debate. And your advice, it's in your advice position. So that tells me that you need to fight for whatever it is that you want, and whatever it is that you're debating or coming up and kind of, with others about, that you need to hold your ground, is basically what that is saying to me. So hold your ground when it comes to, words being exchanged, whatever. Make sure that you're thinking very clearly here with this Queen of Swords. And you can hold your ground, and you can tell, I don't know, whoever's around you that's coming up against you, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I'm thinking clearly, right? What is beyond your control this week is the Ace of Pentacles. So this would be a new financial opportunity. I do feel like for some of you, this may be job related, perhaps money related, material related. So this could be job or house, but it is some sort of new venture, or something that you're wanting to put a little more time into, I feel like. What is your secret desire? What you're trying to avoid is, of course, you're trying to avoid heartache, right? You don't, you, and I'm almost getting the feeling like you don't want to be wrong or proven wrong. Because really, swords are about, it's air energy, so it's mental energy. And even though these swords are going through a heart, I always like to say it's almost like a mind ache. What, I guess, is sometimes because these are thoughts, and it's disappointing thoughts. And of course, it affects your heart on some level, of course, too. But, sometimes it is just that mind piercing, like just disappointment, and you're just kind of disgusted about it. So, that is your secret desire, or what you're trying to avoid. I would imagine you're trying to avoid that. I doubt if that's anyone's secret desire there. And your outcome position is a Tower. Okay, so all of this is going to lead to a Tower, some sort of disruption in your life. Again, I want to say that this seems to be job related. It seems to be, and it's something you've kind of known. You've been a little anxious about it, and you've been thinking about it. So is this a job change that you're going to do, or a position change at your job? Is there something shifting in the way that your job is done? It's causing you some anxiety, but there does seem to be some giving and receiving of some reason. This will make sense to some of you, for some it may not. But there's also some debate where you do need to hold your ground, and kind of fight for your position, if that makes sense. What is hidden from you this week, Pisces? Is the Ace of Wands. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. And here, when this magician is asking you, what do you choose? Because this is hidden, I feel like, I feel like that you're going to choose the financial option and not the passion option. You're going to, because, and that sometimes you're just forced to do that. So I get it. You're just going to choose your responsibilities, but there is some sort of disruption. There's something that's coming of all of this that is going to, I'm not even sure if it's huge, but this will eventually lead to a disruption in your life this week. What that is, it's very hard to tell. It'll be different. Tarot is a template, so it's going to be different for different people. For some people, again, this will be job related. For some, it might be housing related. For some of you, it could be relationship related. So whichever template applies to your situation, this is all just about energy that's moving over your sign this week. So apply where needed. All right, let's get a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Pisces as they go through whatever this is, whatever this thing you've been anxious about, and it seems like it is coming. So let's try to be positive as you're moving through your week. All things in moderation. And I would say even words and thoughts and these energies, whatever's going on with you, be moderate about it. Let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care. You're working through some sort of fear. So it might be like an either or decision here with this Ace of Pentacles. And I know this Ace of Wands is hidden for me. And it's almost like, my heart's telling me to do this thing because I love it. But my checkbook is saying, my bank account's saying we can't. We got to do this other thing. So if that makes sense, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys are going through. And let's see, in the way of self-care this week, Pisces, what you need to do is have patience, is the card that you get this week. It is safe to wait. Okay, so maybe you don't want to make big decisions. Maybe your fears are founded. And so that's why you want to hold off on making decisions. And maybe we're just going to be a little patient this week and kind of play, see what happens mode. But yeah, it is some sort of disruption, and I feel like you are going to be torn between, what you love and what you need to do just because it's financially viable is the thing that you need to do. So Pisces, I really appreciate your time here with me this week. I hope you get through this week and everything's just fine. Again, be patient. Just remember that as whatever is going on and whatever tower moment that you have to face, just be patient through it. This too shall pass. Also, if you like my reading style, please hit like and subscribe and come back next week and let's see where your story goes. I'm very curious now to see what happens after this tower for you. I'd be very curious to know. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with me. I do hope there was something that you can use in this reading, and we'll see you next time and see where your story goes. Thanks so much, Pisces. Bye-bye.